Hey guys, it's me again. Welcome to episode 3 of the podcast. Y'all are so lucky. Y'all are getting 2 episodes this month. So, I've been sitting on this topic for a minute. Oh, I just wanted to say, y'all, if y'all can hear the rain in the background, my bad. Like, it's pouring right now. It's pouring really heavily right now. So, let me, move over so it's not too much in the background. Okay. But anyways, hey y'all. Okay, I've been sitting on this topic for a minute, and I think I'm finally ready to talk about it because it's been sitting on me heavy. So I saw this TikTok, right? And this woman was talking about how when her friends call her to vent or share something personal, she tells her husband, which is crazy. And she was actually dismissing, their problems or issues. But, anywho. But, and I also noticed, a lot of women do that, and not in a shady way, just casually. Of course I tell him, of course I let him know. And there's been TikToks of men being like, oh, when my girl's a therapist friend and I be listening. And I'm like, this is why folks don't talk to their friends in relationships, because the moment you call your friend, their partner knows all your business. And I don't like that personally. I don't do that to my friends, because my man, well, I don't have a man, but my partner and my friend are two different worlds, or two different things. And also, y'all, this just popped up into my head. It reminded me of where a tweet was saying oh, this is why I don't like when people go through my phone, because it's not just my privacy you're invading, it's also my friends, because we tend to text our friends really personal, intimate stuff. Anywho, but it made me ask myself, why don't we value friendships the same way we value romantic relationships? Why do we treat our friends like side characters in our lives, or reoccurring guests or guest stars in our lives, when they often been there longer and held us tighter and known us more deeply than the people that we date? Because I've had friendships for 10 plus years. My longest relationship was for a year. You know what I'm saying? And even that, if you tell someone, oh, I've been with my partner for 10 years, they're gonna look at you crazy compared to oh yeah, I've been knowing my homegirl for 10 years. See that double standard? So I would say for sure from young, especially as girls, as a girl, I can't speak for boys because I'm a girl. But I feel like we're taught that romantic love is the end goal, and that once you find your person, your soulmate, your whole life changes, that happily ever after, that fairy tale where Prince Charming sweeps you off your feet and suddenly the sun shines brighter, you can smell the roses. It's just sunshines and rainbows once you find the love, the one. Even how we talk about romantic partnerships, it's the one, and you know what I'm saying, my soulmate. But nobody tells you romantic relationships can be just as magical. And no one even talks about having a platonic soulmate, the one, a best friend. Now, don't get me wrong, romantic relationships come with things friendships don't. Physical intimacy, a different level of commitment, especially if you're choosing to build a life with this person. Because with romantic relationships, you got to look at finances, raising kids, and merging a future. So, obviously, I definitely do understand to a certain extent, yes, a romantic relationship is definitely going to be put a bit higher than a friendship. Just a little bit. And I respect that. But I don't feel like that makes friendships a little less important, right? And I say that because I feel like friendships are chosen family, to me, because I only have close friends. So, but to me, friendships are chosen family in the sense of these are strangers that we pick, who we pick to evolve in life with, that we have positive experience with, that support us. This is our community that isn't tied to blood. Friends are people that genuinely like you for who you are. And that's what I said earlier, this is not someone that's tied to blood. This is someone who loves me and likes me for who I am, and they show up and support me for who I am, and they see me authentically for who I am. This is someone that I create milestones with and memories, And I would say for me personally, I've had friendships go all the way back to middle school. And for this one particular friend, like, we've been friends for like 10 years plus. And she's watched me grow mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And even the conversations that we have now are way different than what we used to have at 11, 12 years old compared to being 23 years old. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are way different conversations. And that's a friend that evolved with me, you know, because we picked each other because we genuinely like who we are as people. And we decided, like, we're going to keep being friends. And it's wild how people talk about the evolution of friendships. Like, people always talk about romantic, like, you know, when you're in a romantic relationship, you always have to date your partner and get to relearn them. I've even seen this one lady talking about how her and her husband call it like an iOS update. But we never really talk about it, like, with friendships, like relearning each other, because friendships go through that too. And I think in a sense it's easier to evolve beside a friend than a partner, because with a partner, like I said previously, you are doing things financially and raising children. But I don't think I don't know how to put it. I gotta take a moment, y'all. I gotta take a thought. But I feel like I said, I think sometimes it's easier to evolve beside a friendship than a partner if y'all are aligned. Because when you in a friendship, y'all could be friends for 5+ years, but when, you know, y'all no longer align or y'all no longer resonates, then friendship breakups do hit. Like, friendship breakups and romantic breakups can honestly both be on the same playing field. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I remember this one friendship breakup, this one friendship breakup that really changed my whole perspective on friends and kind of jaded me really, really bad. Like, there was multiple betrayals, but it was like that last time where I was like, oh yeah, baby, it's never gonna be the same after that. Like, it's never gonna be the same after that. And I feel like it was just like feeling undervalued in the one-sidedness of the friendship and being gaslighted and manipulated in a sense. And I've too experienced that in a romantic connection. So, and I feel like when you experience that romantically or platonically, like, them breakups be hitting. And I think what's even more crazy is that my standards are so different when it comes to my friends and than a partner. Like, if I had a man who texted me the way that my friends texted me, like, he would have been cut off. Like, he would have been blocked. Like, we don't go together no more, right? Like, let's say people talk about, like, oh, like, you literally have to schedule to hang out with a friend or see a friend. But would y'all really let your boyfriend do that? If it's not long distance, you know? Because I think that's a whole different story. But even then, people in long distance relationships still make the effort to communicate with their partner. But why do you go months without seeing your friend and still being like, oh yeah, that's my homegirl? But your man couldn't do that. Your partner couldn't do that. Your spouse couldn't do that. Because, you know, I thought it was crazy for me in a sense, because if my friend don't text me back, I just be like, oh, like, she must be busy. Life must be lifing. Or, like, I don't take it personal, because we never know what other people are going through. But I'm like, why don't I give that grace to a man? Because they be full of shit. So that's another thing. But I will also say, though, even though, like, I may go days without texting a friend, I feel like as I'm getting older and craving more emotional depth in my connections and more emotional intimacy, I would like if when I text my friend the same day, if she could text me back the same day, even if it's hours later, like, can you just text me back the same day? And I also have to hold myself accountable for that. You know what I mean? Because I realize, like, we are constantly crying out for community, but, like, are we really creating it? Like, how am I creating community if I only hit my homegirl like once a month? I don't talk to them. Well, actually, I probably do talk to certain friends once a month. And that's it. Because we're so busy. But like I said earlier, if that was a boyfriend, oh, he would have been cut. You would have been cut. Because what do you mean you only try to talk to me once a month? Like, what are you doing that is so important that you can take the time out your day and text me hi? You know what I'm saying? I remember one thing I do say constantly to, like, my friends is, one day we're all going to have families, we're going to have kids, and we're going to be so busy with our careers, and we're not going to talk as much. But you know what's crazy? Like, why does having kids or a spouse means that my friendships gotta fall off? Because people make time to see their mom and their dad and their cousins and their siblings and their aunties and uncles. So why my homegirl gotta be left behind? Because I now have different responsibilities and roles that I play. Because friendships do get put on the back burner when, you know, people enter those type of stages in their life. Now, I don't have kids, so I don't understand. Like, I know kids are time consuming, but maybe I don't understand the depth of how time-consuming it is having your own family. And I also think that's another reason why people value romantic relationships a little more, is because romantic relationships is just closer to having your own family. You know what I mean? And I think because of that is why subconsciously we're constantly putting romantic relationships at the top. Like, we're taught as women, I cannot speak for men, but I know as women, we're taught, like, a man needs to center your whole life. And if it isn't a man, then it's your children. Like, even the things that we say, we be like, my man, my man, my man, my man, my man. I don't hear nobody saying my bestie, my bestie, my bestie, my bestie. And I feel like that needs to change. Like, the same way you be like, my man, my man, my man, we need to be like, my bestie, my bestie, my bestie. Because there are people in friendships who show up who are so supportive, who are so genuine, who loves you through your worst, your best, your lows, and your highs. Like, why don't we have the same, you know, I don't know the word for it right now, for that. But I would say for me personally, like, I've been a floater friend my whole life. I've always had different friend groups. But I think I'm just someone I feel like I consider myself like a chameleon. Like, I know how to adapt with different people. I also feel like I'm just a chameleon. But I'm definitely at a point in life where I've been feeling this for years, but I just want one consistent friend. Like, I just want to ride or die. I just want to ace. I just want to roll dog. Like, I just want one consistent friend. Like, I can call for anything, and I know they're always down. Like, I could just call and we can hang out and do stuff like that. And I know I need to show up the same way for them, because I cannot be putting it out into the universe like, I really want a best friend. I really just want one personal friend. And I'm not doing that in my other friendships, you know? And I'm also going to say something that might stir the pot up. But let's talk about men and their friendships. You know, the whole male loneliness epidemic that they be talking about. At a point, they got me. Like, I was starting to feel bad for the men. I was starting to feel a little bad. Like, dang, like, they lonely. Nobody cares about men. But some men don't even do the emotional work in their friendships. And that's why they joke about women cutting each other off of, like, birthday dinners. And it's not about the dinner. It's never been about the dinner. If your girlfriend cut off her homegirl because of a birthday dinner, that's not what it is. It's about history and the love and the time and the bond and the laughter and the tears that we spent pouring into our friendship. It's about that emotional labor. And that's why it hurts when, like, something as small as couldn't make it to my birthday dinner. Like, that's why it hurts, because it's like, I built this bond and connection with you. And, like, I don't know, like, I built this bonding connection with you, and we've been through so much. And, like, why aren't you not showing up for me? Why are you not showing out for me? Especially if it's a continuous thing. Like, I'm pretty sure the birthday dinner was not the last straw. There was some weird shit before that. But I feel like certain men don't get it. Like, and they'll probably never experience that level of platonic intimacy. Like, I think I saw a tweet, and it was this guy. He was like, oh, like, I love being a man and having friends because I ain't go to my homie's wedding and he not gonna take it personal. And everybody was like, he is gonna take it personal, but you're not gonna hear about it. His wife is gonna hear about it. And I've too been in the same position where I had a boyfriend at the time, and he was venting to me about his homeboy, and I was like, why don't you just, like, express yourself to him about how you feel? Like, if you feel so strongly, like, I think you should say something. And he was like, nah, he wouldn't get it. And I was just so shocked, because, like, as women, we just naturally, there's, like, for me, it's not even a thought where I'm always going to tell my friends how I feel. But for men, it's just not the same thing. And I don't know. I think that's a little interesting because, like, I feel like to be able to express to your friends how you feel, especially because friendships do evolve and grow, how can we grow in the relationship and friendship if you're being silent, you know? But men, they weren't really taught how to express vulnerability, right? The same way that women are. They weren't really taught to be emotional. Some men see being emotional as being feminine, and that's not the case. It's good to have a good balance of masculinity, masculine and feminine, but that's a whole different conversation. But I think that's why there's a whole male loneliness epidemic, because men can be in these surface levels friendships where they don't feel like they could come to an event or have the emotional space to do that with their male friends. And I think that's why their partners may have that emotional labor. And I also feel like that's another reason why romantic relationships are just placed higher, because romantic relationships or your partner is just seen as your safe space, your best friend, you know, like someone who will never let you down, your ride or die, you know. I think that's like goes back onto why people may have romantic relationships just a little higher. But I'm not here to bash men. Like, that's not what that is. It's just an observation that I've made. But I am here to uplift the sacredness of platonic love, because when that relationship ends, when your man doesn't work out, like, who are you going to retreat to? And people always say that, like, okay, when that man does you X, Y, and Z, like, you're going to come back to us. Or when she does you like this, you're going to be the one crying to us. So maybe it is time to start saying my bestie, my bestie, my bestie. Like my homegirl, my homegirl, my homegirl, my ride or die, you know. And maybe it is time to start texting our friends back like we mean it, and to be consistent and to be open and to start treating friendships like a sacred ground, like a sacred connection. Because I don't think people realize how hard it is to find genuine connection and people that genuinely love you for who you are. And I also think that's why, like, people go to AI or ChatGPT to have really deep, personal, and intimate connections with. And I feel like I fall guilty with it too, but I have a therapist, y'all. Like, I talk to another human, but I do talk to ChatGPT about silly things and goofy things. But like, some people really be pouring their heart out and crying to their ChatGPTs and whatever AI system that they're using. And I think it goes back to like not having that community. And like, how could you if you only text your homegirl once a month, or you only text your homeboy once a month and you only see them once a month? Like, how could you build that community if there's no consistency, if we're not being vulnerable with each other and being open with each other? Like, how can we create that bond? Is it because we're too scared? Like, I know people have definitely said things like, oh, don't trust no one, you only got yourself. But like, how do we start opening and creating vulnerability and emotional spaces where we're not turning to robots for empathy and just to feel seen and value? Because being friends with the wrong people or even dating the wrong person could lead to emotional and psychological damages. But, you know, if you find yourself in that place, why not turn to the robot who's not going to judge you, you know? But that's a whole nother conversation. But I don't know. I'm going to cut it short here, you know. Today's challenge is to please text your homegirl back. Please text your homeboy back. Please text whoever you left on red, because sometimes we don't know, like, people are reaching out to us and you texting them back can really make their whole day. And I'm pretty sure other people felt that way. Like, dang, I just wish somebody cared about me. I definitely have moments where, like, I feel like my friends don't care about me, and then I spend time with them and I'm like, wow, like, I feel so loved, I feel so seen. But I don't know, it's like, why do I, like, I mean, you gotta show up regardless, but like, why in these little moments when we hang out am I feeling so seen? I want to feel seen all the time. I want to feel appreciated all the time. I want to feel heard. And I also have to hold myself accountable and making sure I'm doing the same thing for my friends. So yeah, y'all, please text your friend back. Please check in on them. That's how we build community, and that's how we build consistency to have community, you know? Like, I know isolation is such a big thing right now, like being by yourself and focusing on yourself, but like, you know, we gonna focus on ourselves too much, too long, that we're gonna turn around and there's not gonna be nobody. Humans are social creatures. We crave community regardless. At the end of the day, we crave a sense of belonging at the end of the day. So that's it. Don't forget, build your community, y'all. It was nice talking to y'all. Thank you for watching listening to this podcast episode. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I would definitely love to hear y'all thoughts in the comments. Thank you. Bye.